Hello guys, welcome back on the Dutch Couch. I know this will definitely split opinion, 1,000,000%. This club usually do. But in my opinion, if there was one team I would love to see promoted to the Premier League for next season, it would be Millwall Football Club. I think it would be massive for that club and their supporters. Absolutely fanatical fan base, great atmosphere at the Den there. People have got their own ideas about Millwall. I'm going to talk about it through my eyes as a neutral, right, and someone who lived over that way as a child. Now, I know Coventry they're walking away with this league. There's no doubts. They're 10 points clear at the moment, scoring goals for fun. Joy to watch, right? They're the best team in that league, a standout team by a million miles. The other automatic promotion spot, for me, that's anybody's. Why not Millwall? I think they're good enough. I think they can get a level of consistency in their performances and results. Home form will be massive in getting into the Premier League next season. How good would that be? I don't think they've been in the top division since about 1989-90. So you're looking at 35 years out of the top division of English football, the top tier. For this club, it would be fantastic in my opinion. Maybe I've got a soft spot for them. Well, I know I have, because literally when I was younger, difficult time in my life, my parents separated, my dad went to live in South London, I went to live with him on a really posh, Millwall fans will know this, really posh estate called the Ferrier Estate over in Kidbrooke. That was so posh. Well, it weren't posh, it was a dump, but as a kid, I absolutely loved it. It was brilliant as a kid playing football with the kids. But I went to school there, and I always remember my first day at school. Literally, they're setting up a match, didn't know anybody, setting up a match. We'll do Millwall against the rest. I thought, all right then, yeah, that's all right, no worries. I'll be with like the Arsenal, Tottenham, Chelsea, whatever. Literally, I was up one end of the pitch and the other end was completely Millwall. And that just summed up Millwall for me. It seems like it's them against the rest. And I think they thrive on that. I think that's part of their identity, part of their makeup, which I absolutely love. Not everybody's going to love you. Everybody hates us, we don't care. That's Millwall. I love that. I think they should thrive on that, to be honest. I'll talk on the pitch in a minute. But obviously, people, when they first hear about Millwall, all I hear is troublemakers, hooligans. They always want to just fight, dirty fans. I listen to all this crap on social media, but it's the stuff that people want you to see. It's run by people's agenda about this club, in my opinion. I don't think people look at the other side of the club. I mean, Millwall Community Trust, they do so much work. They do so much work in a local community, this football club. Whether it be, I know I've done a video on this before, and I've done a couple of videos on Millwall. The Armed Forces Military Veterans program they done there. They do stuff with adult mental health programs. Inclusion, they fight knife crime, bullying, they do so much stuff, the Millwall Community Trust. Have a look at their website. Honestly, they're the good side of this club. I'm looking on the pitch. They're currently sitting fourth in the Championship, right? Which you're looking at it. I'm looking at league table and I'm thinking, God, that's a good effort by Millwall. But it's anybody's. It's absolutely anybody's. I'm looking at the space between fourth and between the playoffs, and I think 18th is about 5 points. So those positions at the top, this is the season for me where anybody can get there. Usually you have 2 or 3 at the top who run away. It seems like it's just Coventry this year. The rest are in the battle, which I think is good for the league. And I've always said it. I've said it on multiple videos. I believe the Championship is the best league in the world. Not because it's the best technical league. I just think it's so competitive. Over 46 games, you cannot relax against anybody. And if you can get consistency, 2 wins can take you from 16th to playoff place. It's crazy. It's always so tight throughout the league. I love it. I think it's a great league. What they have, Millwall, in my opinion, in Alex Neil, great manager. I think he's fantastic. I think he's strong-willed. I think he knows exactly what he wants. The players are in no uncertain terms. They know exactly what he wants, and they carry it out on the pitch. I think the style of play. I think that the style of play with Millwall, I think they're quite balanced. I think they're easily comfortable being a possession-based team, but they're equally as comfortable going direct. So they've got variation in their game. I think the manager's very adaptable, which I think is going to be massive in a promotion push. People usually see Millwall as a middle of the road mid-table. They have been on the whole. Let's get it right. They have been on the whole. There's a couple of times they've been in and around the playoffs, and they got an FA Cup final before a few years ago against Man United. I think it was about 2004, maybe. My memory serves me right. This team, in my opinion, has all the qualities to get into the Premier League. The only thing that would worry me, I mean, they lost Japhet Tanganga in the summer, didn't they, to Sheffield United? I think they got about between £7 and £10 million, if I'm right. I might be wrong there. Let me know in the comments. He was a mainstay. I thought he was a great performer in Millwall's defence last season, the ex-Tottenham player. I saw him play. I went to Dagenham and Redbridge against Millwall, actually. I always saw him as levels above. He always looked so comfortable on the ball. Great tackler. Oh, he read the game so well. In Championship level, I thought he was fantastic and a massive player for Millwall. I'm surprised they let him go, myself. What would worry me is the goals that they concede. I think they've conceded 23 goals in the league. I think that's work. Obviously, they're sitting in fourth, as we said, right? The team in 18th, I think, has got a better defensive record. That would worry me. That would be the only worry with Millwall. Going the other way, I've got no worries about them. They create chances. They're good on the ball. They'll swing the ball in the box. Alfie Doughty, left foot, unbelievable. Ivanovic up top. I think they've got some really good talent. Aziz, really good side. I think they've got everything they need to go up. I really do. Self-belief would be the thing for me. But 5 points, this says it about the Championship, right? Which I love about it. 5 points separate. I think it's the playoff places and about 17th or 18th where West Brom are. That's crazy. So I know West Brom, the manager's getting a bit of stick there at the moment, but a couple of wins, they can be in the playoffs. That's how much things can change in this league. 46 games, you cannot rest on your laurels in any of those games. It is a constant slog through the winter. The games come thick and fast. Midweek, Saturdays. It's constant. There's no time to reflect on a good or a bad result. You've got to put your mind onto the next game. There's no messing around here. I'm looking at the goal difference is -4, like I said. That's a big worry for me. That's the only thing I'm looking at, thinking, can they turn that around? Because defensively, they need to be better. But when I look at this Millwall side, I've always looked at them and thought, right, out of possession, I see them as compact. Really good defensively, out of possession. The out of possession work I've always thought was really good. But then when I see the goals conceded, thinking, am I getting a different idea of them? I don't watch every game, but I've got friends who go over there to every game, and they're really positive about it. With the recruitment's been very good as well. So yeah, we'll see with that. But they lost three of their first home league games, 3 of the first 4, and they only scored 1 goal. So I'm looking at that at the time thinking, mate, this is going to be a massive struggle. It's going to be a huge struggle. Because I talk about Millwall, my next door, he's a Millwall fan next door. And I talk about Millwall with him. And I always say to him, oh, they've done all right the weekend, or God, they were shocking. So I'm obviously keeping an eye on these constantly. But they seem to have, obviously, when they've found themselves back in 4th place, they've obviously found a level of consistency, a level of bounce back ability, if that's a word. I've heard that on Sky Sports before, bounce back ability. They've obviously found that, and they seem to have self-belief in that Millwall squad. They seem to have so much self-belief that they can go anywhere and get a result, which I think is vital. Because if you're not right up there, then your feet ain't doing the job. Without that, your feet are useless on a football pitch, in my opinion. I'm so much into the mental side of the game. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see with that. Last time they were in the top division, 1989 to 90. The old Den. So this stadium here has never seen the top division. It's seen cup games. It's never seen the top level of English football. The old Den, I wasn't lucky enough to visit there actually. But what I can say from the stories I've heard from there, and from people when I was a child listening to their parents, I can only imagine how hostile, how volatile, how intimidating the old Den must have been. Those terraces there, absolute chaos on a match day. I'm even grinning about it now because I'm really nostalgic with English football and football in general. To think of those terraces in them days and the shenanigans that went on the pitch when you could actually put a tackle in. And some of those Millwall players, I could imagine them kicking 10 bells out of opposition players at the old Den, sorry. It must have been an experience. And I've heard so many stories, like I said, I could rattle all of that about them. You knew you were in for a game there, massively, massively. But promotion this season, for me, it would be off the scale. I can't even imagine what it would do for that football club. And got to say it again, I talk about people's perceptions of Millwall Football Club, right? It's weird because when I speak to people, I used to do ground hopping, doing a 92 with my boy. I took my oldest boy to Millwall. He must have been 5 at the time. I tell you what, I kid you not, at the time, I said to people coming away from there and the days following on, that is probably the most child-friendly atmosphere and stadium to go to that I could imagine, that I've ever been to. And at the time, my wife even said to me, "You're not taking him to Millwall. You're not taking him there." And I'm like, "Listen, it's cool. I'll take him. Whatever happens, happens. I don't think there'll be no trouble." I'll tell you, it was a cup game against Watford, and I think Millwall won 1-0, third round in January. What I remember, the first thing I remember was the Watford fans being sent down an alleyway straight from the station, and I thought, wow, yeah, this is different. So are they expecting a bit here? I didn't know. I wasn't sure at the time, but I thought it was fantastic. Everyone was brilliant with me boy, as I say, 5 years old, and that gave me a little bit of something to come back at people with, because people would say, "Nah, Millwall this, Millwall that," and I'd say, "Mate, take your kids over there. It'll shut you up. You'll be very surprised." And then last January, I took my youngest one, who's now 9, he was 8 at the time, I took him there with Dagenham and Redbridge away. He loved it as well. Great with the kids, although I weren't too happy with the stewards telling me to take my flag down. Wallies, absolutely ridiculous, woke nonsense. Great experience again with the kids. I've never experienced anything negative with this club. It's all positives. So I'm only, like I said at the start of the video, I'm talking through my eyes, right? And that's all you'll get on this channel, is honesty through the eyes of this balding 45-year-old with a dodgy beard, right? That's all you'll get. There's only positives about this club. And to see them back in the Premier League, I'll tell you what I'd love to see. I don't think the Metropolitan Police would like to see it. Millwall against West Ham games again. I think the police would be cacking themselves over the thought of that. But as a neutral, I'd love to see it. I'd love to see rivals on the pitch. Sunderland, Newcastle this season, it's going to be spicy on and off the pitch. I think football's built on rivalries. West Ham and Millwall next season in the Premier League, or even better still for you lot, if Millwall swap places and West Ham go down, you lot would love that. Tell me in the comments, would you prefer West Ham to go down, you get promoted, or both meet in the Premier League as rivals? As a neutral, I'd love to see the rivalry. I think there'd be magic games at the London Stadium and the Den. The Met Police won't want this. I'm telling you, they will not want this. But 46 games, I think, I can't even remember how many they're into it now. Is it 13, 14 games, whatever? You've got to get consistency, a level of performance. I think what would set Millwall apart for me is what I think their clubs run on. Hunger. They're humble. They're hungry. They constantly fight on and off. They don't fight off the pitch constantly. Do you know what I mean? No. They constantly feel like they need to give it more. Give it more. Fight for the badge. These players will fight for the badge till the end, in my opinion. I looked at this squad. There's a lot of fighters in there. I like Cooper as well. Jake Cooper, he's a good player. Very good player. I like him. But when I look at this championship, this is how strong I think it is. And people are getting the wrong idea. They're saying, it's the weakest one for years. I don't get it. I'm not taking that at all. I'm looking at Leicester. Leicester City sitting 15th in the championship. I'm looking at West Brom sitting 17th. Ex-Premier League